Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Halloween is almost upon us, my friends. We all have our own personal traditions on what we do, watch horror movies, ignore it entirely. But of course, one thing that I think a lot of us still do is a Simpsons marathon. Specifically, the Treehouse of Horror episodes. Some say the Simpsons have outlived their time, that they're not funny anymore, or just that the old days are the best days. Do I have a solid opinion on that? I watched last year's season and it wasn't bad. Surprisingly, the episode that I thought was the funniest was the one that fit right at home in a Treehouse of Horror episode, Them Robot. Even if you don't watch the show anymore, I think people still have a special place in their hearts for Treehouse of Horror, around 3 vignettes that are something fairly original or parody horror, sci-fi, or fantasy TV shows or movies. I had hoped to put together a top 10 list of the worst Treehouse of Horror segments for this Halloween, but every time I try to record it, I keep hearing somebody laughing maniacally and speaking in a European accent about horror comics in the other room. I can tell you the absolute worst one right now, though, Diving Bell and the Butterball. Congratulations, you made a 5-minute-long flatulence joke and then out of nowhere Spider-Man parody. How proud you must be. This year actually had some good ones, though. Loved the Paranormal Activity parody. But anyway, let's talk about comic books. The Simpsons has always had a strange relationship with comic books, with quite a few of the staff writers being comic fans, and of course, one of the recurring characters is, well, comic book guy, the overweight, overly sarcastic stereotype of comic fans. Bart Simpson is always shown as a comic fan, particularly Radioactive Man. Then, of course, there were the occasional cameos from comic creators like Neil Gaiman, Stan Lee, Art Spiegelman, Daniel Klaus, and Alan friggin' Moore!
Oh, little Lulu, I love you, Lou, just the same.
I could fill this whole video up with quotes from that episode's section featuring the comic creators. The actual plot of the episode was dumb. But let's get back to comics themselves. There have been a significant number of Simpsons comics over the years, most of them published under the Bongo Comics group, which is still around today. In fact, they just released another Treehouse of Horror anthology a few weeks ago. The company was founded in 1993 when Matt Groening decided there was too much grim material in comics and that it could use some funny stuff. A not unfair analysis of the state of comics at the time. And they're not adaptations of Simpsons episodes either. It's all original stuff, or occasionally a sequel story to something that happened on the show. Unfortunately, I don't regularly read them, so I don't know the overall quality, but I've heard they're still funny even after all this time, no doubt helped by the fact that a significant number of prominent creators have worked on them over the years, including Gail Simone, Chuck Dixon, Garth Ennis, James Robinson, and Paul Dini. So that brings us to today's comic. Atop the Fourth Wall is about bad stuff, so is this comic bad? Not really. In fact, there's quite a bit of funny within it. However, it's not great, and when the hell else am I going to get to talk about Simpsons stuff on the show? So let's dig into Bart Simpson's Treehouse of Horror number 2.
Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Life out, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be
While I am reading from a trade, we're going to look at the cover this time, mostly because I would have read from the individual comic, except my copy is kind of falling apart. It's simple and nicely eye-catching, with either Kang or Kodos sneaking up on Bart, who's reading this very book, with this very cover, which features him on it. So shouldn't he know that it's sneaking up on him? And if it's an exact replica of the situation, how is it published like that with another comic on that cover and another comic on that cover and...
Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
Unlike the regular Treehouse of Horror episodes, this unfortunately only has 2 stories. No wraparound segment either, but by this point on the show they had abandoned that, sorry to say. We open at Springfield Maximum Security Prison, where all the lighting on the prison windows is conveniently Halloween-esque orange and yellow. Our first tale's title, Sideshow Blob, also known as what happens when Kelsey Grammer eats too many donuts. Sideshow Bob is suffering from a cold and is being escorted to the prison doctor's office. Okay, Terwillager, you know the deal. Because you volunteered for this foolhardy and almost certainly life-threatening experiment, we're cutting your prison time in half. I'm Warden Exposition. Nice to meet you. Warden, I'm anxious to cooperate in any way that will allow me to get out early and resume my true avocation. Interpretive dance. Helping oil-soaked seabirds return to their natural environment. Or running over Bart with a tractor, as his thought bubble reveals. Good times. Actually, here's a thought. Wouldn't Sideshow Bob's hair have gotten shaved off when he got put in prison? No, playing guinea pig doesn't bother me, so long as I'm assured the supervising doctor knows what he's doing. Hi, everybody!
Hi, Dr. Nick!
Oh, come on, I had to do that. Now don't be scared, Bobby. I'm Happy Hypo, and me and Dr. Nick are gonna help you beat nasty old Mr. Cold. Side effects include sneezing, headache, loss of sleep, sore throat, and nasal congestion. One little jab and all those icky, droopous mucous membranes will be harmlessly absorbed into your body. Won't that be nice? You'll be just like Donald Trump. The injection seems to work, and Bob quickly says his head is clearing and he feels absolutely perfect after it. And then his body starts twisting around and Bob declares, Glump, bloog, wargle. Diarrhea is like a storm raging inside of you. And thus he quickly transforms into a gelatinous blob of icky. Oh, silly me, I got the formula reversed. What do you think about that? So you increased the cold? This is the natural result of the common cold if it isn't fought? Bob, quickly realizing how powerful he is, absorbs Dr. Nick, the warden, and a guard into his body and kills them. He proudly proclaims that he now has the power to ignite a rampage of destruction and crush all his enemies. And then he passes the asthma monster, making his own escape from prison on the way out. After easily surging through the prison gates, we cut to Bart getting harassed by the bullies. Surprisingly, he's wearing that light blue outfit you always seem to see him wear in every piece of media except the actual show. What's up with that? Is it just a coloring mistake that gets passed on to everybody else that nobody ever bothers to correct? It's like the animals on the chests of the Power Rangers. Why does every piece of associated material except the actual show have those? Lisa saves him, somehow, while being dressed as a zoot suit jazz musician, and they steal his inexplicably pink hockey mask before shoving his face in a jack-o'-lantern shaped bucket. They run off, but then Sideshow Bob arrives. Lisa and Bart recognize him immediately, not questioning why he's now the big blob thing. Because Bob can't see Bart's face under the bucket, Bob only presumes it's Bart. Ach, nein, it is only humble transfer student Uter, Jumpin' Yemeni. That naughty Bart be the little hoodlum in the hockey mask. You're much slimmer than Uter. You're the same size as Bart, and the kid you're pointing out is 3 times taller than Bart. Yeah, sure, I believe ya. Bob attacks them, but of course Jimbo just takes off the mask to reveal he isn't Bart. However, Bob says he was going to get around to devouring them anyway, so yeah, does so. Not sure why he would have gotten around to them. Is this some kind of Akira thing now, where he's going to absorb everybody? Or can this technically be counted as a Thing parody now? Anyway, they decide they need to warn everybody about Bob. Yeah, right, Lisa. You know as well as I do, adults never believe kids when a monster's on the loose. She's right, you know. When I was a kid, I warned people that Daniel Tosh was coming, but nobody ever believed me. They go to their Aunt Selma first, but naturally she doesn't believe them. And as soon as she closes the door, Bob is already inside the apartment. Damn, for being a giant snot monster, Bob's stealthy as hell. Next up is, naturally, the scientific community for a solution. Unfortunately, Professor Frink is disbelieving as well. So you see, kids, this so-called blob is simply an hysterical overreaction to a Halloween prank. Why, not unlike the Orson Welles flying saucer hoax of 1938. Oh yeah, and the Springfieldians would never fall for that kooky hoax.
Burn everything!
You know, Homer, we haven't actually seen these aliens.
That's alien talk!
We get a quick assortment of people getting killed by Bob until the kids reach the Quickie Mart. Apu believes them, but only because his leg is being consumed by Bob. He's presumably killed off-panel because we don't see him afterwards, and Bart keeps tossing objects at Bob in the hopes that it'll do something against him. He finally responds to a squishy getting tossed his way. The big loogie doesn't like cold. Quick, Lise, play a rousing selection of Gilbert and Sullivan. Damn it, Bart! Gilbert and Sullivan aren't cool! They're awesome! It's totally different! So the little hellion remembers my fondness for the works of Sir William and Arthur. Ah, Mabel's song from Penzance. Poor wandering one, though thou hast surely strayed. Odd that Lisa's first choice for Bob to sing is one sung by a woman. Bob says it's not gonna work, but then she switches it up for a chorus number and gets Bob singing again. When a felon's not engaged in his employment, or engaged in his felonious little plans, his capacity for innocent enjoyment, is as great as any honest man's. Oh, no joke or anything. I was in Penzance as the main police officer, and it's rare for me to get a chance to sing the music, so I'm just indulging myself. Bart, in the meanwhile, starts pouring the squishy machine as hard as he can on Bob, trying to freeze him over. However, Bob finally notices. Fortunately, the machine also has a reverse function. In any other comic, I'd be scratching my head going, what the hell? But this is The Simpsons. So yes, I completely buy that the squishy machine has a reverse function. It sucks him in and explodes. And so our story ends with Chief Wiggum not believing the kids and, of course, scratching his head with his gun. Meanwhile, some of Bob's remains go into a sewage drain in the middle of the floor, and he ends up at a water treatment plant and eventually to Mount Splashmore. I don't get it, though I do like the, if you can read this, you're in Mount Splashmore water storage tank number 12 sign. Though admittedly, I have to wonder why there's a light inside of the storage tank. We move on to the second story, The Exorcister. First we take an overly intellectual, underly cool little sister. Next we add the wretched rhythm of a familiar demonic spirit with a backbeat of a town gripped by the senseless specter of censorship. Sing a song of squeamishness with The Exorcister. Dear God, do I love alliteration. We open on the living room of the Simpsons household where Marge is glaring at everybody, as she is wont to do. Marge berates the family on their entertainment choices, particularly the band that Lisa is singing along to. Naturally, Lisa was carrying around the rap album's CD, even though she's clearly listening from a Walkman, so I don't even know what. The band, called Oil and Vinegar, is apparently all about female empowerment. Since when does female empowerment involve brandishing enormous switchblades? I don't know, I kinda like this new image for the Spice Girls. Also, Marge, that's not a switchblade, that's a dagger. I think if they made switchblades in that size, it would kinda defeat the point of the thing. Though I would want one anyway. While Lisa admits that they go a bit overboard, her favorite is still Madonna. Marge is not impressed with Madonna. Well, if you ask me, she's got all this style and class of a second-rate Vegas nightclub act. Marge, this was 1996. I don't care how old you think you are. Grow the hell up. Anyway, after a few more bits of Marge complaining about role models today, we cut to some time later where Flanders comes over to try to find his sons. Marge says she thinks they're all in the basement and they've been playing some game called Magicians Get Together or something. And when Flanders goes downstairs, we see them preparing to chop Todd's head off. This story took a weird turn. Not even sure what the hell's going on here. Todd was supposed to be the sacrificial lamb, Rod a druid high priest, although why he's dressed like a wizard I don't get, and Lisa is dressed like Madonna over Bart's objections. Okay, but why always Madonna? I swear, you're possessed with her! The word is obsessed, and I am not! Wait, she always does this? How many times have you played this game? How many children have you murdered, Bart? The next day, the Simpsons are hosting a barbecue where Marge informs Ralph that Lisa is sick and won't be coming down. Reverend Lovejoy starts ranting to Flanders that the end days are approaching. Why, the signs are everywhere. Just turn on your TV or radio and you'll be subjected to a constant barrage of the most vile forms of entertainment imaginable. Honey Boo Boo reference, Toddlers and Tiaras reference, Jersey Shore, reality shows, Arrow, take your pick. I don't watch TV anymore. Later, Lisa comes downstairs looking kind of crappy. Ralph hands her some lemonade and she spills it in the ground, in a pretty cute Exorcist parody bit. But then she starts singing Madonna songs. Marge drags her away and later to the doctor. Lisa, now dressed like Madonna, starts dancing around everywhere. Dr. Hibbard says there's nothing physically wrong with her, but Marge isn't convinced based on her bizarre hand movements.
That's a phenomenon we refer to as voguing, a symptom that was very much in vogue a few years back. I'm surprised to see it still around.
My goodness, is it contagious? Marge, you were alive during the 80s, right? I mean, I know the Simpsons timescale is kind of confusing, but I mean, at the time this comic came out, you were alive during the 80s, yes? After a failed second opinion from Dr. Marvin Monroe, and a change of outfit from Lisa, Marge is still unsure what's going on. We cut to a few weeks later where we have a, well, pointless bit where Krusty apologizes for an incident with a kid imitating something he had done on his show. Afterwards, Marge talks to Reverend Lovejoy about what's been happening and begs for some help with Lisa. The Reverend is understandably skeptical about the idea that Lisa is possessed by the spirit of Madonna, especially because, well, Madonna is still alive. I see. Well, I guess I should have gone to see a Catholic priest in the first place.
Whoa now, Mrs. Simpson, let's not be hasty. I mean, come on, don't you want to try voodoo first? Or Satanism? I hear Satanism is popular this season. It's true that my denomination doesn't believe in exorcism, but who knows? This may turn out to be a great new source of revenue for the church. Hi there, can I interest you in a door-to-door exorcism?
That night, Reverend Lovejoy arrives, hearing Lisa singing Like a Virgin backwards from her room. After he gets upstairs, he kicks open the door to reveal Lisa in bed with two gremlin doll things. Okay? They're my entourage, and wherever I go, they go. I tried to have Furbies as part of the entourage, but they were just too creepy. Also, Lisa's head is backwards. And the Madonna cone bra is too. Lisa explains, I needed my shoulder blades up front in order to keep my brassiere on. Kind of funny, except if you notice, there's nothing holding the bra up. There are no straps for them. They are apparently glued on or something.
The power of Cod is within you. The power of Cod. No, I mean, crap I read from my other book. I secretly worship a giant fish.
When the scripture reading fails, Lovejoy shows her a review of the film Body of Evidence, which compares her acting ability to that of a comatose llama. And naturally, this expels her from Lisa, along with Dennis Rodman and Gillian Anderson, I think? And so our comic ends with Lisa back to normal and Homer wondering where the spirit of Madonna went after being expelled. And we see Reverend Lovejoy wearing a silver cone bra and singing Like a Virgin. This comic, it doesn't suck, but it's not very good either. As someone who has had to read a lot of unfunny material this last year, there are plenty of humorous bits to it, and there is plenty of good humor potential used in the Sideshow Blob story. Its main problem is, surprisingly, the padding. It probably would have helped to have had a third story and excised some of the more useless bits, especially from the Exorcist story. With that one, there's less jokes or parody, and more just Marge ranting about those kids today, Reverend Lovejoy ranting about those kids today, and the whole page with Krusty that added nothing. Same as the kids playing human sacrifice. It was just not funny and really kind of pointless. But it wasn't unbearable, and I still got a chuckle out of it. Simpsons comics can still be pretty damn funny though, especially the Treehouse of Horror ones, so I still say check them out. And most of them are actually available in trade format, including a crossover with Futurama. In the meantime, have yourselves a happy Halloween. Next month, Secret Origins Month returns! Guys, we need to talk.
Whoever you are, there ain't nothing left to talk about.
I want to apologize. You three can feel free to not trust me. After everything that's happened, that's more than fair. But right now, I know that I am who I say I am. And I have to trust that you're all who you say you are. This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide and make us all destroy each other. And if it is hiding, that suggests that it's vulnerable out in the open. If we fight each other, maybe even kill each other, then it'll have no more enemies left. And it'll have one.
Even if you really are Linkara, it doesn't change anything. We're still stuck here, and Big Eyes hasn't figured out a way to get us out!
Bite me, fine voice!
And it doesn't change all the things that you did by leaving us all here with the hologram!
It was a mistake. I'm sorry. I should have...
Yeah, you should have. I'm hearing a lot of should haves, but not about what you actually did do.
God damn it, Harvey! Don't you get it? We have to work together.
We're gonna get into this right
know what
now.
your problem is.
Yeah. That's all you ever do. That's all you ever do.
Goddamn
thing. Trying to deal with this all the time.
I am trying to get us to rally together.
Never trustworthy.
How are we ever supposed to get out of this if all we're gonna do is throw accusations against one another?
Really?
I just don't get this. You're not even listening to a single word I'm saying. It's like I'm just rambling to nothing. I don't even know what we're supposed to be doing.
Then the people I know. I just get catch!
Yeah, screw you too! What the hell was that thing?
I'm not sure. It looked kind of like one of the shades from Vice's ship.
Or those cloak goons.
Warning, intruder alert.
Nimue, you're online?
Intruder alert. There is an intruder present.
Took you long enough.
Guys, hold it! Who the hell are you?
Just someone doing what he has to.
I take it you're responsible for what's been happening?
You ask a lot of questions, don't you? I picked that thing up a few months ago when I was fighting another guy with a gun. Thought it might come in handy. It loosens people's inhibitions a bit. Really gets the rage going and feeds off of it.
And you still want my magic gun?
Has that ever changed? Still. Not until it's good and ready.
Ready?
Oh. It is ready. You've been busy these last few months, haven't you? I don't even have to get you mad.
What the hell are you talking about?
You've unlocked the gun's full potential, can't you feel it? It's definitely right for picking. So you gonna do this the easy way? Or the hard way?
As hard as lead, bucko! Nimue! Emergency Procedure 4 on the intruder! I think it's time you explained yourself, asshole.
Don't have the time. I think I'll take my leave now. That gun will be mine soon enough. I hear you took advice. Probably makes you a good guy. I'd ask for your help if I could, but trust me, it just wouldn't work out.
Nimue, stop him!
Unable to comply.
Damn it! Hey. Hey, kid. You missed the meeting. I didn't think it'd be good for me to be there. Did you guys figure out how Nimue came back up? Poyo and Linksano suspect that she was never offline to begin with. There's no damage to the apartment's computer. That shadow creature probably screwed around with our own perceptions, made us think that we couldn't leave, and we couldn't hear Nimue over the sounds of our own yelling. Well, that's just peachy. Are you okay? No, kid, I'm not. You see, it doesn't matter if those perceptions were fake or anything. Everything I said to you and the others, that was real. I was really that angry at you about the hologram thing. I was ready to put a bullet between your eyes. But you didn't, and that's what's important. No, the fact that I was willing to is what's important. I need to get away from this for a while, kid. I need some time to think. I've got a concert tour that'll take me all over the States for a bit. I think that'll help. If that's how you feel, you think you'll be back for Christmas at least? We'll see. Harvey, for whatever it's worth, I am sorry about the hologram. Last month, before this all started, I said that I knew that I would not turn evil because you guys would be by my side. That opinion has not changed.